Welcome to Team More Wine, sir, the Game of Thrones Gorilla Cast for Boomtron's Optionated. I'm Elena, with me is Rachel, and we're here today to talk about the latest episode. So crack open a bottle like we just did, and sit back and listen in while we ramble and curse our way through a dissection of the episode.
All right, so we're back in Westeros, right?
Yep.
And you're for the first time, I think you're watching this with like no clue what's coming at you.
Yes, that's exactly true.
Okay, so I think we opened with like a little mini tourney of the Hound.
Yeah, the Hound kicking ass and Joffrey being a douchebag. And Sansa being like, I'm going to extend mercy in the only way I know how.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I'm hard on Sansa, but she, at least at this point, becomes less annoying because she's really just trying to survive instead of, being a tattletale and being a douche.
Yeah, and I honestly, I didn't mind what she did. I was like, she's obviously like, look, I'm fucking stuck here. I'm not getting out of this. My brothers are not coming to rescue me.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I do?
Right. She has no idea where Arya is.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty much fucked. I mean, she's reaping what she sowed in a few ways, which is kind of nice, but we don't want to see little 14-year-old girls killed by tyrant kings. So I feel bad for her.
Yeah, well, isn't it always that way when somebody actually reaps what they sow? You're like, fuck, now I feel bad for them. Was what they did this bad? But then you're like, wait a minute, she did kind of get her dad killed, and, her brothers all condemned to die as traitors. Yeah, maybe it was that bad.
And then Tyrion sort of just wanders in being like, hey, I won an Emmy, how are you?
Yeah, no, and he felt like that too. Like he just had so much swagger when he came on, and it was like he was just like 10 times the stage presence anyone else in that scene was, and I was like, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I went and saw the premiere at a local bar I guess not local bar in New York City. We have a million bars, but at a bar in New York City called Professor Tom's, which last year they did like viewings every month, or not every month, but every week. And, it wasn't so bad. But this, oh my God, there were probably 200 people packed into this place, and it was getting cutthroat at the end. Like my friends and I, we got there, it's like in another part of the bar, and they opened that part up at 7 for the 9 o'clock showing, and we got there at 6 to sort of like, get pre-beers and sort of eye the door. So we got in line and we were first. And even though we were first, we still had to fight some bitches off that were trying to get our seats. Like,
what?
No, this is the nerd rule, right? You get there first.
And exactly.
Right. So it was fun watching it with all those people, but at the same time, I kind of wish that at least half of them hadn't been there. But people did cheer. There is a point to my story. That people did cheer when Peter walked into his scene. There was much clapping and
much acclaim, yeah.
Yeah, I thought people would boo Jack Gleason like the first time you saw him, but it was pretty quiet. But when Tyrion walked on, it was like, woo, yeah!
Well, I mean, I don't know what the crowd was there, but maybe there weren't quite enough of them that have read all the books to know, like, well, I'm assuming that Joffrey is just a little, I don't know, unspeakably filthy name the whole way through.
Just favorite character.
Just because of what you called him. And I was like, watching him with that theory that he's like meant to be the one character everybody can hate without any like qualms or reservations or like take backs when you get his point of view or something. I kind of appreciated him a little more as that person. And
it is important that in this kind of world where we don't really know where we stand, that we just fucking hate Joffrey.
Yeah, and here's my takeaway. Like, Joffrey is basically why you discipline your children. Like, you don't let them have everything that they want, and you don't tell them they can have everything that they want. I mean, like, all I could think during that scene with Cersei when he slaps her in the face and is like, never do that again, was, oh my God, you might love your children, but did they love you back? Because I'm not sure he does love his mother. And there
should have been some smacking of him at a much earlier age.
Yes, exactly. Someone needing to tell him no at some point in his life.
Yeah, and not to be sort of spoilerific or anything, but the way that Cersei, her relationship with Joffrey, they've altered it a little bit so that you can clearly see that she is losing control of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the book she really thinks that he is her son and she loves him and that he just needs guidance.
Mm-hmm.
But
in the book, isn't he still like 12 years old at this point?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's aged up a little bit, but not their emotions, right? They're still acting like 12-year-olds. So I feel like people were shocked, like, oh my God, she hit him, and I'm like, well, this is the television version of Cersei.
Yeah. Well, what's shocking is that she hadn't fucking hit him sooner.
That's true, and I love that I couldn't tell if she was playing like she was ashamed of the accusation of the incest, or if she was like, watch your tongue or something, but I think it was really just that he was kind of not doing what she wanted him to do.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I don't know, I don't even remember what I thought during that scene, if I thought she was actually like ashamed that he might learn the truth, or if it was that she was just so furious that he was not doing what she wanted, that he's proving not to be the perfect little puppet, but shock of all shocks, his own like individual human with his own motivations and his own perception of the world and like his own filter on events that makes him do things that are not exactly what like she wants to do. Yeah, like, she basically wants everyone in the world to act like those guards did with Littlefinger when she was like, cut his throat, now, stop.
Put your fingers in your ears, now jump up and down.
Exactly. Like, that's what
that
she
was
wants
a really great
to
scene,
do.
though. That was a really great scene. That really illustrated. Now, I thought it was sort of weird that she was confronting Peter at that time, because I feel like in Clash of Kings, Peter's still, under the radar, super cool. Like, everybody kind of knows he's playing them, but they don't exactly know how. The Peter of the show, I feel, is a little less conniving, or not. Well, maybe he is just as conniving, but he's not as subtle. So it was a great scene for them to sort of butt heads this early on. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was kind of taking some live vlogish notes, and that scene was a flip around for me, because I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Littlefinger, sticking it to Cersei. And I'm like, oh shit, Cersei sticking it to Littlefinger. I don't know who to root for. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is great to see, like, people who are bad guys. Let's just call them bad guys. We like them. Everybody likes them, but they're bad guys.
We like. That's the difference.
Yeah, and they're bad guys kind of going up against each other, sort of flexing their muscles, which they don't get to do so much, because at least Cersei seems to be spending a lot of her time unhappy at everyone around her.
Well, she doesn't have Jaime's stiff dick in her bed anymore. Of course she's unhappy.
Yeah, that's good. Can I write that on a T-shirt or something?
Yes, feel free.
Okay, so let's go up to the wall and back to Jon Snow.
Yeah. Oh God, my takeaway from that scene. Well, I had two actually. My real takeaway was the ending line with I don't even know, the commander basically.
Commander Mormont.
Yeah, sticking it in Jon Snow's face. Like, if you want to learn how to lead, you need to learn to fucking follow, because. Like, that was a really great interpretation of that scene, because the whole time Jon Snow is sitting there sticking out like a sore thumb, because he's, like, obviously, like, looking at everything, observing everything, thinking his thoughts very obviously on his face that this is some fucked up fuckery right here, what the fuck. Yeah. And no one else there seemed to be as bothered by it or as upset by it, and I know we didn't, like, get to hang out with the other new recruits, but they didn't seem quite as... I think
they were more excited to see girls a little bit.
Yeah, well, and maybe a little more willing to, like, do what they're supposed to do, which is follow the lead of the other men who've been there before. But the other thing was just that father was about to have a fucking riot on his hands with, like, all those girls. Like, oh my God, who's that? Hi, Jon Snow. You look like you know where to put it.
Hey, Jon Snow. I know, that line where he said that Jon was prettier than half of his wives. It's true, and all I can think of is like the L'Oreal commercials. You can see like the gifs on Tumblr of Kit Harington and his hair blowing in the breeze.
Yep. With all his eyeliner from the hipster / emo Jon Snow phase. Like, maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline.
It's true, but I think his problem though is, let's be serious a little bit. His problem is that he's still arrogant. Like he kind of learned to be helpful and to be one of the guys when he was back at Castle Black, but as soon as he's out searching for his uncle, he goes back to that old Jon Snow where he's too good for everything, and he is viewing Craster and his daughter wives as a Lord of Winterfell almost. Like, this is wrong and you should be stopped.
Yeah.
And I think that the Lord Commander also felt that implicit judgment that why haven't you stopped this man from being like this? But, you know, he's kind of a great place to stay when they're journeying around. There's not a lot of houses to come by.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the other houses are abandoned, so it's entirely self-serving for them not to fuck with him and to be like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like,
it is funny, though, that he has all these rules. He's like, you touch my daughters and you'll lose a hand. I'm like, really? You and what army?
Exactly. That may be one of those things where it's kind of a, I don't know, under the table agreement with him and the commander that if one of the Night's Watchmen fucks up, that the commander's going to support him and not the Watchman.
Yeah. Well,
so, that's the army, I guess.
We'll see what happens. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not telling.
No spoilers. La 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 la.
So yeah, we didn't get too much of the world beyond the wall.
Yeah, basically we got one shitty holding and that like everyone else is gone. So
yeah, well we didn't get too much of Dany either. I think they just had to establish everybody. But can I just say that especially with the Dany scenes and the CGI dragon, you can tell that their budget is so much better. Like everybody's clothes are better. Like Jack Gleason's little doublet at the very beginning, that thing is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And everybody's wigs are better. So much better. Like Cersei's hair looks like hair instead of like weird clay that they've put on her head. But the dragons looked really good. I was super happy about that. Because I thought, oh, these could look super cheesy or super weird. But they didn't, they weren't there for a long time. But hopefully when they do pull them out, they look, because if you look at like slow motion replays of the dragon, like it looks solid, he looks like leather, he doesn't have that like shiny CGI quality, which is hard to do in like the direct light that he was in. So cool.
Yeah.
Good job, HBO.
I can say that I did not go through a slow motion scene by scene to see that, but it looked good. It didn't jar me. Like with the wolves, I appreciate because we saw that with Rob's wolf, I guess.
Yeah, Grey Wings.
That they're definitely trying to make them more than actual wolves. I mean, that was up to his fucking hips, but like I could kind of tell that it was superimposed. So I appreciate that they're not trying to break with the look they did last season, which was just actual wolves. They're just trying to, shoot it and maybe, if they have to like put it back in digitally so that it's bigger, than it is.
Yeah,
but,
well, and they're growing up too, so it was plausible for them to be sort of dog-sized in the first season, but
exactly.
They need to be getting bigger and scarier. Yeah, Grey Wind was awesome. I really loved that scene where he comes and intimidates Jaime.
Well, that was just a really great scene. All of Rob's scenes this time were pretty great because he had a very, I think, astute scene with Jaime, and I don't know, in a way the line was predictable because I was expecting him to say something like it, but yet it was just so succinct and awesome that, like, I trust them with my life. I don't trust them with yours. Then, like, the scene with his mother was just hilarious to me because we all know I'm not Caitlyn's biggest fan, and that I think that she makes a lot of emotion-based decisions.
She does, and trading the Kingslayer for a girl is not a good trade.
No, it's not. But with the way Rob went about, like, saying, look, I need my mother's help with this, so how am I going to get her on board? Oh, yeah, by, like, saying, well, Mom, if we win the war, then we get the girls back. So really this whole war is about my sisters, even though, like, he's flat out said 2 seconds before, it's bigger than that. And you kind of get the impression that if he has to sacrifice one or both of his sisters, he's willing to do it because he understands.
I don't know if Rob is willing to sacrifice his sisters. I think he knows that it's a bad deal. And that he owes a lot to his bannermen for risking their lives, for coming when he called. He's a king now, and he has to make kingly decisions, and he's not just the Lord of Winterfell who has been wronged by another house. AKA,
he's willing to sacrifice his sisters if it comes to it. I mean, I'm not saying that he wouldn't necessarily do everything he could to keep it from getting to that point, but
yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like Rob is he's still got a soft. He's still gonna give it.
Okay, I'll revise that to this. I think Rob thinks he's willing to. We'll see what happens if push comes to shove.
Right, right.
Because you never actually, I mean, it's the whole, you never know what kind of soldier you're going to be until you're, put in battle, and then you either, like, find out how to do it or you just piss your pants. And
right.
So,
And he hasn't lost yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he does.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get arrogant.
So, okay, we've done all of the established kings, but now we have to go to the two new kings.
Yes, okay. So, Stannis, let's start with him. Stannis? Oh my god. Okay, his entrance on the scene, it's so underwhelming. Like, the way, I don't know how. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
The burning icons and...
Oh, the witch. Who is that? Because they didn't actually say her name.
Her name is Melisandre.
Melisandre. Okay, I want to come back to her.
Okay,
that whole scene was impressive and, like, big. But, like, Stannis himself... he was, I don't know, the way he delivered that first line, it was very, like, soft, and I was like, wow, he doesn't have a natural authority, and then, or not the same, like, charisma, I guess. I don't know that he's supposed to, exactly.
Yeah, no, he's not supposed to be charismatic.
Yeah, so in a sense, I'm like, well, okay, that's exactly who he's supposed to be, but, I was kind of, I don't know, expecting, like, Robert Baratheon, except with Ned Stark's morals, and I don't really think that's what he is. He doesn't seem to have that sort of forceful personality.
Right.
And then, like, oh my god, he was such a stiff ass. Like, I was like, oh my god, you're trying to get everybody killed because you're like, oh, they broke the law, they're going to die as traitors.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter that, like, he's not going with the whole, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He's like, my enemy is my enemy. The end.
Yeah, that's Stannis. No, and that's why I fucking love Stannis, because Stannis is like the troll of Westeros. Like, everybody else is like trying to be like sneaky and trying to give here and take there and just sort of fit in and survive, and he's just going in like, nope, everything's this way, and that's just why. Why? Because it is. It doesn't even matter if it's like, okay, well, Stannis, if you do this, then I'm gonna kill your dog. And then he'd be like, that's fine, because that's the way it has to be. He wouldn't even try to stop it, because he's just a stick in the mud, and I love it. Like, the opening scene where she's doing all of where Melisandre's like, oh, the night is dark and full of terrors, and they're burning all the icons of the seven, and then she's like, now pull the flaming sword out, and he pulls it out, and then when he's done, he just shoves it in the sand and walks away. Like, okay, yeah. I did it, right? Like, no, there's no flair for the dramatic. You kind of get the impression that he probably doesn't even fucking care. Like, he's an atheist who's just doing what he can.
He's not even an atheist. He's like an apatheist. He just doesn't care.
But when they're writing the letter, that was pretty good. I thought that was an excellent introduction to his character.
Yeah, that was well done, because it shows both that he is a stickler for, accuracy, like, in a lot of different ways. He's like, well, no, he's still a knight. Call him a knight and call him the Kingslayer. He's both of those things. Like,
he's Sir Jackass, not just Jackass. Sir Jackass.
Exactly. He's like the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's kind of, I mean, if you want to talk about somebody being a slave to the truth, I don't think it's Tyrion. I think it's Stannis.
Yeah, and I think Stannis always tells the truth, and you can always count on him for that, which it's kind of refreshing. When you get to him, you're like, oh, Stannis, you're telling the truth. But my favorite character is Davos, the Onion Knight, who is the sort of the bearded guy.
Is he the one who kept giving him, like, the what the fuck are you doing looks?
Yes.
Have we met him before?
No.
Okay, because he looked familiar, and I couldn't figure out if it was just because I'd seen some pictures of him, or if I recognized him from other movies, or if we'd seen him, like, for one scene last season.
No, he's like Stannis's right-hand man.
Okay.
Okay, so then we can move on to Renly.
No,
we haven't met
Renly,
yet.
We didn't even see. He's just, Renly's also declared himself a king. Like, right. Really, like, I don't even get what the fuck Renly's doing, because, I mean, I guess he's managed to build an army of 100,000. At least that's Rob's information. But I'm like, What the fuck claim does he have? He's not Robert's son. He's not the next brother in line. And he's not part of any family that's, like, getting shat on by Lannisters.
Well, I think Renly just has opportunity and desire. I mean, he's still a Baratheon, right? He still wants, he served on the small council. I mean, Stannis supposedly did too, but he wasn't there.
But
he was
wasn't
on
there,
Stone. He wants the power. He doesn't want to just, get retired.
Yeah, well, he was born, however many years younger than Robert he is. He was born that many years too late because he, had the same sort of like conquering spirit, and he wants to, use it. And now he's like, fuck yeah, Civil War. I'm in. Making it worse.
Civil War. And it's not even Civil War. It's like quadruple, like, you've got the Lannisters versus the Starks, and then the Renly and Stannis are against each other, but Stannis is against everyone.
Yeah.
With him and his 40 guys. Him and his 40 guys. He's like, okay, well, we're going to war against the entire continent. It's like, okay, Stannis, you do that. But, okay, let's talk about Melisandre then.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't look this up yet, but I will later. But she looked like a woman who was in the Black Death, playing literally the exact same role. And it might be the same thing, and maybe that's her shtick, and if so, she's just really good at it. But it was that sort of very charismatic female leader who's basically taking sort of prophecy and myth and superstition and rolling them into something new, with her kind of as the prophet at the center of it. Mm-hmm. And so in the first place, I just thought that was fun to see someone again. Also, Ned Stark was in the Black Death, so maybe if that is the same actress, that's why, she met Ned, and he's like, oh yeah, she'd be great for this, I don't know. I liked her because this is the first female character that we're seeing who is not deriving her power from a marriage or her family. Like, all of the other women, however powerful, they are, Cersei being basically ruling the kingdom until Tyrion showed up, and Caitlyn, ruling Winterfell and causing mayhem because she's fucking retarded, and, Dany being like the Khaleesi and the Chosen One, or the mother of the Chosen One and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all because of either who they were born to be or who they married, or both, sometimes in combination. And this is the first woman that we're seeing who is basically on the strength of her personality and her wit and her intelligence and her sort of vision taking power. Like, even if it's derived from backing a man that she thinks is going to get her somewhere, it's still her doing it on her personality, not her bloodline.
No, I totally agree.
In terms of how she's introduced to us, for all I know, she's like, Stannis' cousin, but I doubt it.
But she's not, and that's the great thing about Melisandre, is even in the books, you're kind of like, well, where the fuck did she come from? Why does Stannis, how did they meet? How did they hook up? Why is he following her? Why is he listening to her? It's this big mystery, which, we a mystery. We love that.
Yeah, we do.
But when I first read the books, Melisandre was really annoying to me because I kind of just characterized her as the Westerosi representative of the Christian God, right? Because she's all about this one God. She tells everybody else that their polytheism is wrong, and that they should follow this one God named R'hllor, who seems to be the god of fire, and that if you don't follow him, then you'll just kind of die in the dark. And it's kind of really scary, and she doesn't say anything ever that is uplifting, or that she doesn't say anything that's uplifting or moral or that makes you feel good, It's not like, oh, the mother will protect you and the warrior will fight for you and all that crap. It's just like, no, the night is dark and full of terrors. You should worship R'hllor.
And take iocane powder, or build up an immunity to iocane powder.
Yeah, that's build up. Well, that's the question, though. Is she magical? Do you believe that she has magic, or you think that she's sleight of hand?
I'm completely cynical about people like her, and I think that she is completely calculated in what she's doing. I think that she...
But what is she doing, Elena? What the fuck is she doing?
Well, right now it kind of looks like she is, I don't know, trying to raise an army, and if she can remake the world and the vision of like this new god and this new religion with herself at the center of it. I mean, that's, I think, ultimately the end game, but, small steps. First you have to, find an army. So she's working on that.
Yeah, that's true. But if she just wants an army, why would she pick Stannis and not someone like Renly, who has 100,000 warriors?
Well, I don't know when she showed up on the scene. it kind of seemed like there was an established relationship with her and Stannis. Although then again, why him? Because the whole thing with him even being like pertinent to the line of succession came up 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So, but maybe because he seemed either like he would believe it or like he could be on board with it in this scheming sort of way.
Right. But he's not a schemer, and that's the weird thing. It's the truth, right? So he either really believes what she's telling him, or for some reason what she's telling him is worth whatever he wants for some weird logistical truthiness in his own brain. Like, who knows? Because Stannis only tells the truth and he only does what's correct. Maybe not what's right, but what's correct.
And we don't think that there's any room in Stannis' life for the plebs to be told what they need to hear in order to do what he wants them to do. Because she could also be like, look, you just let me do my thing, I will get you an army. I will get you an army of fanatics that will follow you anywhere. Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing about true believers. If you can, like, rouse them, then they're fucking fanatic.
That's true.
They're not for sale. They are not...
And that's exactly the type of army he's going to need because, I mean, he lives on a rocky island with nothing on it.
Yeah.
He's got, like, 40 guys and an old knight and an ugly wife. That's all he's got. I mean, he really does need someone to be charismatic for him.
Yeah.
You could always count on Stannis to just be the wet blanket. Oh, it's like you're having fun, and then, oh, here comes Stannis. No fun. No more fun. That's kind of how I feel like him and Renly are. Like, Renly's like, woohoo, I'm having so much fun. I got my boyfriend and doing all this stuff. And then Stannis is like, no, Renly, we can't do that. Fun right now. Oh, we had the very last bit with the killing of all the bastards.
Yeah. I mean, were they basically, like, killing every infant in the city? Because...
That's what we were joking. It was like, all the dark-haired babies, just kill them all.
Well, you never know who King Robert's been banging. Obviously, his wenches were numerous. And...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently anyone with black hair in King's Landing is
like every baby and every blacksmith's apprentice. Yeah,
that was weird. I don't think it's in the books. It's not quite like let's go into the city and massacre all of the children. But I guess it's smart of Cersei to clean up after him if at least if Joffrey's claim to the throne, not his claim, he has it. Is in jeopardy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would actually be shocked if in the books she didn't, like, do some sort of cleaning up, because Robert left a lot of bastards.
Yeah.
Although I wondered if it wasn't Joffrey who had ordered that. But then I was like, well, I can't read him. I can't tell if he actually, like, understands the truth and that he is the king only, like, basically on sufferance, or if he actually still believes that he's the rightful king and that just, like, he like, can't even comprehend, like, that it might not be true. So in which case he wouldn't care about however many bastards, his father sired. But the fact that
true.
That he brought up...
would he have asked Cersei like,
how many, like, women did, he fuck after he got bored with you? That, like, the fact that he had that line, I don't know. Like, it could be that he was just trying to be cruel, but I kind of felt like he was putting two and two together. And
well, true, but it's not like Robert hid it. I mean, everywhere they went, he had a wench on one arm and a wench on the other, and he just ignored Cersei. And, Cersei has a lot of baggage, considering what happened on the wedding night and all that.
Two together, I mean, more like realizing that he might not be the king, and that if Robert probably has some little bastards running around.
That's true. Do you really think, though, that... I mean, let's go back to that conversation, because first he sort of jokingly asks Cersei if the incest rumor is true. Mm-hmm. When what he is really asking is, who is my father? Mm-hmm. Which has got to be fucking fucked up for this kid who has everything and who's supposedly, like, the prince... and then it's kind of like, oh, whisper, whisper, your uncle's totally your dad.
Hey, Uncle Father Oscar.
Yeah. Poor Marcella and Tommen, those two little children. They have no idea. But yeah, the scene was kind of overdramatic, but I like the last one with Gendry and Arya getting onto the the cart.
Yeah, like, what was up with that? He was like, I'm king of the mountain, and hey, Stooge, come up here with me. Or was it like all the kids get to take turns riding in the cart, and that
I
happened
don't
to
know.
be
I
their
guess
turn?
I think it's just because it looked good. Because I really doubt that Gendry would be allowed to sit in the cart.
Yeah. Well, he was like, see my bull helmet, plunk. Because I have my bull helmet, I am king of the cart.
I always thought that his helmet doesn't look big enough to fit on his head.
No, it kind of doesn't. It must be very thin metal, not an effective helmet.
Yeah, but poor Arya, just going to the wall.
Why poor Arya going to the wall? That seems like it's going to be a fucking great place for her.
Yeah, but that's not where girls don't go to the wall. That's not where girls go.
Okay, she's going to be like out of danger. Out of danger of being murdered in her sleep by a Lannister.
But eaten in her sleep by a White Walker.
She'll be eaten in her sleep by a White Walker. Okay, but I bet Nymeria can hook back up with her when she's up in the wilderness. So she'll have her wolf, and Ghost seemed like he was pretty good with the seeing the White Walkers or smelling them coming or whatever. So she'll basically be out of immediate and present danger, and I don't know, she'll kind of have her pick of all the dudes up on the wall. So once they figure out she's
like 10.
I know, but I'm just saying, when she does, they'll be like, oh my god, you're my queen. She'll have an army, shit.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be hilarious if Robb is all, well, Cersei's like, where's Arya? Where's Arya? And then Arya's like, knock, knock, hey Robb, here I am, I'm here, you don't have to trade for me. And then he'll be like, oh, Jaime for Sansa? Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
It's a plan.
Arya definitely needs to let somebody know that she is not in the Lannisters' clutches, because, I'm sorry, nobody's fucking, except Caitlyn, nobody in that family's fucking trading anybody for Sansa.
Yeah. But come on, if they have Sansa and they had Arya, and they controlled her, but them both, don't you think that it would be super dangerous? Because they could trade them for anything that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be, I guess it's better. I mean, clearly Robb doesn't know that Arya's not with the Lannisters. But if he found out, that would be really bad for them, because that's less to manipulate them with.
Well, bad for whom? Bad for the Lannisters?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the point, is Arya needs to be like, hey guys, I'm cool.
Except that the Lannisters are totally after her, and they're going to kill her if they find her.
Yeah. I mean, details.
She's got brown hair. And she's a boy.
Yeah, and she can hide for 4 days from their best scouts. So I'm not, and that's when she's not running for her life. Well, I guess she was, but it's on a different level now that her dad's dead.
Yeah, that's true.
She knows they're not fucking around. I'm not. Somehow I don't feel like she's in a lot of jeopardy. If she dies, it'll be from some random bullshit thing. She gets a fever, like her aunt.
Oh, her aunt. Oh, my God, that'd be the worst thing ever. Where should I go? I'll go to my aunt's. And then she shows up and she's flung out the moon door. Oh, wait, I spoiled it.
I was thinking, her aunt, Lyanna. If she got a fever like that or something.
Oh! I immediately was like, oh, she sucks. Why the hell would she...
Why would anybody ever go to that horrible place? And that horrible woman and her horrible son. Yet another example of, why you don't tell your children, they get to...
do whatever the fuck they want.
Do whatever they want to do. Yeah, somebody really needs that whole no man is above the law smackdown into these children. Apparently Ned Stark was the only person capable of that. In the entire fucking kingdom.
Yeah, right? Nobody ever looked at her and was like, I think the way that you're raising your son is super fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there. So did you see the preview for next week?
I think I did, but shit. I don't remember what it was about, because it was really late when I was watching it.
Well, okay, so predictions then. General predictions for the next episode.
It's hard. I don't have any specific predictions, really. This was a good opening episode, because it reminds you of who's on the stage and where everybody's set up, but I don't really have a feel for the pace of how the season's going to go yet. Like, I don't know if it's going to just be a lot of, cat and mouse and a minor battle or two, and then, the season's over and we're like, okay, we're not really anywhere different than we were at the beginning of the season, except a few more characters are, like, introduced, and so it's even more complicated. Or if it's going to be like, the sides basically completely like realign, or somebody gets knocked out of it, after 3 episodes, and you're like, okay, well, no more Stannis, so who do we worry about now? Yeah, I really like.
So should we start a betting pool on how long the various kings survive?
Ooh. I'm giving Renly 4 episodes as the king.
Okay.
I'm giving Stannis about 8, just because it's going to take him a long goddamn while to get out of Dragonstone if he doesn't have any ships. He's going to be stuck building, like, ships for a couple episodes at least.
Ships out of rock.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, maybe he has a whole fleet. You just don't know.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of fleets, the whole, of course they changed Asha Greyjoy's name to be Yara, because if her dad has ships, of course she's a fucking pirate. Like,
Yara. Well, hey, we didn't talk about Theon telling Robb that he has to be sent back to his father.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Bad decision?
I don't know, because, like, Robb just kind of put the tactics in terms that to him are, like, absolutely certain. Like, I can't win this war unless I guess he listened to Theon's point that if you want to win the war, you have to take King's Landing, which requires ships. I actually don't know that I agree with Theon's point, and it's because of the American Revolution and really, like, any kind of counterinsurgency against an occupying force. If you, like, can hold out long enough and harass them long enough and, like, basically just, you're not playing to win, you're playing to not lose. Mm-hmm. Eventually, their resources are going to run out, their people are going to get tired of it, they're just going to say, you know what, it's not fucking worth it, and they're going to leave and leave you alone. And so, if Robb's not trying to be, like, king of the whole fucking continent, which I don't think he wants the Iron Throne, he just wants to be like, look, I'm the North, I want to be left the fuck alone, you killed my dad, I'm fucking done with you. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't need to go anywhere. All he has to do is just not lose.
Yeah, and they say, as they say, winter is coming, and
winter's coming, and, like, you're in the fucking North. If you know how to survive in the North, like, it's like Mother Russia. How many armies did, like, the winter of Russia defeat? Like, so actually, terrible decision to listen to Theon on that. All you have to do is just hold out until winter's there, and they're gonna fucking leave you alone. And if they come back in the spring, you just keep doing what you're doing. Like, eventually, at some point, like, Renly's army, let Renly's army distract him,
Exactly. He's got 100,000 men.
Yeah, that'll take a lot of Lannister men to kill. And you know what? Terrible decision to listen to Theon. Fucking terrible. I don't even care if Theon's, like, legit and, like, basically thinks of himself as being, like, a Stark by another name. I don't even care if he means what he says and is, like, good intention and not trying to, like, scheme to get back with his dad or because he, like, secretly hates Robb or something. Like, I don't care. Bad move. You're king in the North, stay in the North. Boom. Done.
Boom. Done. I like that. Okay, so you think that Robb's going to regret his Theon decision?
Yes.
Do you think that Renly will last 4 episodes, Stannis 8? That leaves us with Dany and Joffrey.
Yeah. I think Joffrey, like, lasts the entire length of the series.
Yeah, he's going to be around forever.
Yeah. Like, maybe it'll be, like, the last book somebody finally, like, I don't know, maybe Dany can go kill him or something. Maybe Sansa, like, after 8 books of being terrorized and abused, like, finally has that breaking point, like, moment of either clarity or, like, clear insanity as the abused wife.
Oh, are you predicting that Sansa takes the Iron Throne?
Well, maybe. Actually, yes.
Yes? Are you?
Here's why. It's like one of the, you've seen, what's the movie? Role Models, right?
No, I have not.
Oh my god, it's like the sweetest movie about protecting nerds ever. You have to.
Oh wait, is this where they go to, like, LARPing camp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Paul Rudd and Stifler, and they're like they're they have these little kids that they're supposed to look after for community service.
Yes, I am. It's coming back to me, yes.
And one of them, what's his name, McLovin, is like totally into, the SCA stuff, and he has the girl that he's got a big crush on, and he finally like kills the king, and then she's like, I've been hiding behind a tree this whole time. Stab me, I'm the queen, bitches. Best strategy ever. Let all the Sansa. Or let all the strong people kill themselves off. I mean, it's what the fucking Hunger Games strategy for Katniss was, and Peeta too. Like, let all the strong people kill themselves off, and then like see who's left.
So Sansa is in a river covered in probably accurate rock paint.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you're talking about like metaphorical, it's an emotional river in that she's like, oh my god, I must obey.
I like that you're trying to make it work. I respect that. Props. You're like, yeah, an emotional river, and the rock painting that is her concealing.
It's her turning every like emotion that she has into what she needs it to be. Like, I'm sad that my father's dead. No, I'm sad that my father was a traitor. It's using the materials at hand. Yes, I can work with this.
Oh, I'm MS painting this as we speak. I'm going to turn Sansa into Peeta. Should I give her Peeta's face?
Yes.
In a dress. Peeta in a dress with the hair and the loopies and the braids.
You know what all you need to do is like, put Peeta's face on like that, Ophelia drowning picture from.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, and that leaves Dany with her dragon starving to death in the desert.
Yeah.
But that's fine because Sansa has the Iron Throne.
Yeah, and Dany's like, you know what? I don't fucking want it. I've got like Dothraki now. Whatever.
She's got like 4 Dothraki. And they left. She sent them away.
You're projecting like to the end of the end of the season, dude. If any of those guys come back, they're hers for life, and she's gonna basically become like a female Call, where she's got like this harem of hot studly dudes that like do her bidding, like her blood riders, except a different.
It is true that they say blood of my blood, and she's because the Dothraki tradition is that when the Call dies, his wives go to Vias Dothrak, which is where all those old ladies were.
Right, and become like a crone,
Exactly. And she's like, I don't want to be a crone. I'm fabulous.
Yeah.
She's just out there with her dragons.
Being fabulous.
With Rakharo and his, Rakharo is we were joking that he's live action Aladdin. He looks exactly like Aladdin.
Oh my god, I'm going to rewatch that episode with that in mind. I was like, what the fuck was that at the end, that moment where he's like, it's a bad time to start, and like, I was like, is that a sexual tension? Was she like, I fucking him, and he's like, oh my god.
No, Tumblr exploded. It was like Rakharo Dany shippers. They just came out. They were like, here we are.
Because I was like, I thought it was her and Ser Jorah or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Sir Yellow Shirt.
It was dusty. Very dusty. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a prediction that Sansa ends up being on the throne, but I wouldn't be surprised if she shoves Joffrey down off the cliff or something.
I think that there are worse choices than Sansa on the Iron Throne if you're putting bets down.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably never know.
Yeah, let's not take bets on whether Martin actually finishes the series before he cocks up his heels. Let's not take bets on that. That's just.
Well, I heard that HBO is like, okay, you're not done yet, but we're not gonna buy the rights and do this unless we know how it ends. So you have to tell us how it ends, because apparently the producers do know how it ends.
Oh, well, that's actually kind of awesome because, I've seen him quoted as being like, yeah, I'm going to destroy all my notes so no one will ever know, because he doesn't want the whole, like, Sanderson rewriting.
Yeah.
Or writing his end for him the way it happened with, like,
Sanderson's like, I can do it. Just give me. He's like, I'll do it. It's his whole career now. No, it's not true. He's a really good author, but it would be hilarious if he just became the guy that finished epic fantasy series.
When the author dies,
that got sort of out of control and huge and just bloated, and then he just comes in and he's like, "Cha, this is how it should be." No, we were talking about that on the train coming home last night. We were like, "Oh, what happens when the show catches up to him and he's not done? Does the show become canon? Will he do the opposite of whatever the show's doing just to fuck with us because he hates us? Like, what?"
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean,
and then it'll be
thing.
like the show people versus the book people, like.
If he can actually, like, keep his shit on point and do a book every 2 years, he can stay ahead of it.
No,
but
not happening. I'm sorry. That's not happening. That is a safe fucking bet. That's like a thoroughbred versus a turtle in the gate, and they're like, "Okay, man, who are you going to bet on?" It's like, yeah, I'm going to bet on the thoroughbred. You're not going to bet on him producing a book in 2 years because, one, he couldn't do it when he didn't have all the demands on his time that he has now. So now he's doing his, it's not just him dicking around on LiveJournal about like, NFL drafts. Like he has actual shit to do. So I don't think 2 years is fair. I think he's.
Well, unless like part of his authorial conundrum might have been like him not knowing where to go next. And so you never know, like
he's figured it out.
If he's like maybe figured it out, and it's like because I know like his old gaps weren't quite as long as the last gap was.
Oh yeah, they weren't.
So they were.
No, they weren't.
Yeah. Okay. Because
they got progressively longer and longer.
Yeah. So maybe it's maybe he finally like found his groove again, and he's like, oh shit, I've got 2 books left. Yeah, I actually kind of know where I'm going and have it mapped out in my head, and it's like easier to get there because I know with my own like attempts at writing, like the middle is the fucking longest. It's like the red waste of of writing fiction, and like you're not really close enough to the end that you have a clear path to it, but like you're far enough from the beginning that you're not really sure where you're going anymore, and you're sort of like wandering around lost, and it takes like 3 times as long as any other part of the story. So maybe if he's like, shit, I can see the end. Dude, I can see the end.
And you know what else? My friend was saying, he is a screenwriter. That's his, that was his job. So maybe working on the show has helped him cut some of the bloat and just maybe reinvigorated him. But maybe it's not so terrible. Let's say he doesn't finish. Maybe it's not so terrible because he was a screenwriter and the show does translate very well to television when it shouldn't, when an epic fantasy should have like an impossible time of translating. It does it, and it seemingly does it pretty easily. Yeah. So maybe the show is better than the books. I don't know. Maybe someone's going to burn my house down for saying that, but.
Well, but if nothing else in this sense, like if he's, basically dictating like the story, of the last couple seasons, or we'll give him credit of like being able to write another book in 5 years, and so literally the last season and the last book, if the show comes out first, but he's basically telling him like what the story is and where everything goes and how it wraps up,
and then his publisher's going, wait, what the fuck? Wait, this is not a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not reading that book. I watched the television show already. It's good.
Oh, come on. Like any of the people who read the books are going to say that. But to your point though, maybe it actually gives us an end, whereas, I don't know, maybe he never finishes it if he doesn't have the show.
Just Sansa on the Iron Throne. It'll just be her cackling. A whole 10-hour season of her sitting on the Iron Throne and cackling.
Like the entire continent is like a nuclear waste because Dany unleashed her dragons, and I don't know where the fuck Sansa was hiding, but she was under a rock somewhere, literally. And
yeah, she is a rock, right?
Yeah, she is a rock. Like she's the one person who like survives the apocalypse, and she's like, yeah, fuck you, bitches. I'm a survivor.
Oh, that's true. So we're laying our bets, I guess, on Sansa. Even though I'm a Dany fan. I really want Dany to be on the Iron Throne at the very end, but we'll just give it to Sansa.
Or maybe she and Sansa
mad.
realize that men are terrible and become like lesbians together, and, they mutually rule, and like Dany's the Iron Fist and Sansa's like the Velvet Glove,
Oh, nice. No, I'm picturing it. Oh my God. I'm gonna make some Well, so my friend, Jenny has this idea for inappropriate, movie premiere t-shirts. We're making God Save the Queen for the Kristen Stewart Snow White. Yeah, God Save the Queen. Cause she's gonna die, but we don't want her to.
No, not that queen.
She's awesome. Yeah, but she's gonna, because that's the Snow White story. She dies.
Is it?
Oh, that would be great if they killed Kristen Stewart. That would be like movie makers finally understand. I'm gonna do the whole Velvet Glove Iron Fist. Like Sansa, we'll put Sansa and Danny back to back, arms crossed, like a buddy cop movie poster, and it'll be like Iron Fist, Velvet Glove, Special Ops.
Yes. Oh God, that will be amazing.
That be my MS Paint? Maybe that'll be my MS Paint. Put Peeta's head on her body still. That's just forever now. Sansa is Peeta. I'll just be digging out that gift the whole time. I'll just be like, here we go, there, Sansa. That's Peeta. No, it's Sansa too.
No, that's gonna make me more inclined to like Sansa. I liked Peeta so much. Peeta was a survivor, though. I mean, he had the same strategy. He's like, how can I make myself valuable and agreeable to the people that could kill me so that they won't?
Exactly. We have to examine this tendency in ourselves to hate girls who are like that and like boys. So maybe it's good. I'm subverting it. I'm putting Peeta's face on her body.
I don't know that I hate Sansa for that so much as I hate her for just being functionally retarded. But
she can't help it. Her mom is so stupid.
But her mom is. But see, here's the thing. That's book Sansa. And I have to be honest, like, show Sansa does not bother me half as much as book Sansa did.
No, it's true.
I think it's because show Sansa kind of boils her down to this it is a sort of survival instinct, and she gives expressions that she realizes, I'm in a world of shit. How can I possibly, not get myself killed? But yet she still has these instincts, like, I need to save this guy. How can I do that? And that's actually really admirable and really noble.
Yeah.
So show Sansa, kind of takes her at the value of her actions and her behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And book Sansa puts you in her head, and you're like, oh my God, you are fucking stupid. I don't care that you're 11 years old and dreamy. You're the fucking stupidest, hardest to disillusion 11-year-old on the face of the planet ever to walk the universe. Oh my God, you're too stupid to live. Why are you still alive? That's what book Sansa was to me. So show Sansa, I can actually probably get behind because all I see is her action, and so far, I mean, other than some teenage bitchery that had consequences beyond what is it, the punishment is greater than the crime.
Yeah.
From season 1, she really hasn't done a whole lot that I hate her for. It's not what she does. It's in the book how she thinks. But if I don't have to look at how she fucking thinks, I'm okay.
Yeah. No, that is, again, it points in favor of the show versus the novels. We don't know if book Sansa is going to be on the Iron Throne, but television Sansa, she's lock in, right?
She's got a shot, yeah. That wraps us up for this episode. Thanks for listening. Come back next week, and always remember to ask, more wine, sir?